Hey, it's Joel with another bite-sized piece of hope from Glenwood and Rockingham. 3 or so minutes to get your day started in hope. And yesterday we were talking about what God was trying to do with Joseph and where that applies to us. You see, character is something that God works on in us all throughout our lives. And it's never popular with us, I promise you. But in Genesis chapter 37 verse 5, it says, "Now Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they only hated him the more. And he said to them, Hear the dream that I've dreamed, and behold the binding of sheaves in the field, and lo, my staff arose and stood upright, and behold, your staff stood around it and bowed down to my sheaf." And his brothers said to him, "Are you indeed to reign over us? Are you indeed to have dominion over us?" And yet they hated him even more for the dreams of his words. And then he dreamed another dream and told it to his brothers and said, "Behold, I've dreamed another dream, and behold, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me." But he told it to his father this time and his brothers. And his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and brothers come and bow ourselves down to the ground before you?" And his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the sayings in his mind. Now the father kept the sayings in his mind. Why would he do that? Why would Israel do that? Because he knew that God had his hand on Joseph. You know, it's hard to see God's hand on us at times, because we want things in the now, but God has a plan in the future. And Israel was like, what's God gonna do in my son? Now the brothers, they were already wrote Joseph off because he had tattled on him in our last episode. He told on him to the dad, and now he's telling him all these dreams. You're going to be bowing down to me. You're going to be like wheat in the field, just bowing down to me. And then if that's not bad enough, then he tells him, sun, moon, and stars, and you are going to bow down to me. Now God had a plan for Joseph. And Joseph didn't quite understand that plan yet. But can you imagine a 17-year-old eventually, or a 17-year-old running famine relief in Egypt for 7 years? Well, that's what Joseph was being groomed for by God. So what I am saying here is look for what God's doing right now, grooming you to help your family later on. This is his way of polishing rough edges off of us. If you look for hope, you will find it. The thing is, I often become discouraged. And when we become discouraged, we get caught up in the now. Look for what God's going to do in the future. What is the dream that God set before you to bless your family in the future? And that's your bite-sized piece of hope for today. Come around tomorrow and we'll talk more on Joseph's character. Thank you, and be sure to share.